A very good evening and welcome back to Bonita Media. My name is Boniface Oyeno as usual, and I'm going to be your host for today. Now, a lot of things are happening and a lot of things have happened in the country, especially since morning, and that is why we've decided to come and talk about this thing. Kenya is mourning. It has been a Black Wednesday whereby we've lost one of our heroes, that is Raila Amolo Odinga. A lot of people are going to remember him from different perspectives, different directions, but the reasons why now we've decided to do this show is to talk about the overview of what is expected or what is going to happen. What next? In short, what next after Raila Amolo Odinga's demise? And here I'm having Mr. Chemiat, and I'm going to give him time to at least introduce himself, tell us more about himself, and then we come back so that we can talk about the topic of today. Chemiat.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay. My name is Kevin Chemiat, and Chemiat is a teacher professionally. Chemiat is a climate change champion. Chemiat is a farmer.
Okay.
And Babol, I'm a father. Yeah, that is it. And by extension, a political analyst.
So make me understand. How do you divide? How do you do all these things at the same time, balancing all these things?
You know, people talk about a jack of many trades, but it's not difficult because other economies are doing the same. We have people who are doing it round the clock when we talk about a 24-hour economy. As a teacher, I trained as a teacher and I taught for about 5 years, but I'm no longer teaching. It came to a point when I said I have overlived my usefulness in that career. So I moved to other things. That's business. I think I forgot to mention that I'm also a businessman. Of course, business, agribusiness, and then business on its own. That is what I did. And then, you know, as a businessman, you know, I am the sole proprietor. I am the CEO. So that means there are other people who can help the day-to-day running of my businesses smooth. Even in my absence, I can delegate. So that is it. So I can manage by that. And as a climate change champion, you know, I move around teaching farmers and peasants on how they can maybe adapt to different climate change effects, you know, considering that the farmers' calendar has been affected greatly by the change in the weather pattern. So you have to teach them how to adapt, how to make sure that they maybe change the type of farming, or maybe change the specific breed of maybe animals or a variety of crops they are doing, so that maybe they can survive alongside those crops. So that is basically what I do. And I also wear the hat of being a political analyst because I'm one person with interest in politics. Thank you.
Now it's good now that you've talked about a political analyst and you're so much interested in politics. And that is the reason why actually we are doing this show. We want to talk about what has happened. Like of course, everybody knows what happened since morning. Actually, it's not even since morning. Since last week, it is only that we've been on the darkest side of the story. We were not told prior that this thing has happened or this thing happened. Bado tulikuwa tumefichwa. Let me use that Swahili term, that bado tulikuwa gizani. So today in the morning, we got news at around 8:15 a.m. in the morning that His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga died while taking a walk. Of course, we know that he went to India for the treatment and all that, but all in all, it has happened. So before we get deeper into this discussion, what do you have to say about Raila Amolo Odinga's death? Because from there now, there are a lot of things that I want to ask you and I want us to talk about.
Okay, first of all, I want to pass my deepest condolences to the family. He's a family man. I want to also pass my condolences to of course, the members of his party, the leaders around him, and people who held him dear. And at large, I also say a word of condolence to Kenyans at large, especially the fact that he is considered the political shaper of this country. And you know, Raila is arguably has been the most influential politician in the whole of Africa.
Yeah, that's true.
In fact, there was a time they were ranked alongside alongside Cyril Ramaphosa as being very, very influential. So that is to say, we've not just lost as a nation, the continent has lost, and the world has also lost. So we say, fare thee well, Baba, because we also thank God for the little time or the large time and the chance he was accorded to be with us. Have tried to show that whatever he does is actually for his own personal gain.
I get you.
When he leads people to Mandamano, people want to say that you are serving Raila's interests. When he mobilizes his MPs against a bill, people want to say that it is about him. So he was trying to say that it is not his interests he is trying to chant forward. It was about Kenyans. You understand?
I get it.
Kenya at large. So when you talk about maybe political amendment of maybe the constitution, such kind of things, he was trying to say that it is not about him. And he challenged people that suppose you are saying it is about me, and then this thing tomorrow I am not there. What, you know? So that is it. I think we're just reading what is not written.
Now, you've talked about William Ruto, the president, being affected by Raila Odinga's death. I want you to try and elaborate there. Like, how is William Ruto going to be affected by Raila Odinga's death? Leave alone the family, because I would like us now to finish with the family and then the party. But I want us to talk about how is William Ruto going to be affected, because he's one of the guys that really dependent on Raila Odinga.
Let me tell you, many people in this country, which our president is not an exception, are political students of Raila. They've worked with Raila in the past.
Yeah. Everybody.
Ruto was the Eldoret North Member of Parliament. He was my MP, actually has been my MP since I think 1997. So he wasn't doing national politics.
But Raila was doing national politics.
Raila introduced him to national politics, so he contributed. They were together in ODM. They walked a path, even using the Pentagon. They walked a path up to the ballot. And remember, had Raila won, they could have amended the constitution so that our president could have become the prime minister during that time. So at the end of the day, it is not wrong to say that Raila molded Ruto politically. You understand? So at the end of the day, I want to believe that as a personal friend, and since these people, you know, before you can become politicians, you have to be friends. Before you can be on the same divide of politics, you have to be friends. So for that reason, I want to tell you this, that he could be a personal friend.
It's true.
Because if people have ever worked together, separated or went apart, then came back to work together, and now it seems like the president's re-election hopes was squarely depended on Raila's support, then that is to tell you he's going to be directly affected. And I have told you that you cannot ignore the prowess Raila put on the table. You understand? Because Raila was so smart. In fact, if rumor and truth has to be considered, we hear Raila, every other time we say Raila has lost, he never loses. So he's a mobilizer. He can mobilize people. Raila is one person who can mobilize resources. Remember, he was not a poor man. He owned the companies we know, and he comes from a family of a former vice president. That one tells you that he could have mobilized A, B, C, D in terms of resources. For Ruto, he has an international image. Suppose we want to, their re-election depended on some international support or support from outside, then he could bring the expertise. So that one affects the president directly. You understand?
I get you.
Thank you. But also, it also helps him like I told you, you cannot trust Raila. So it also relieves him the pressure of having to think that suppose Raila left today, and you know, and in fact, during his last moments, he was being treated like as if if he does, they were very careful so that he doesn't change his mind about his support. You understand? Let me tell you one thing that you did not notice. Raila may have disappointed the Gen Zs a lot because they were singing his name, they were singing his song. What happened during the Gen Zs, they thought suppose Raila joined them, they were going to overthrow the government. They were so fail-safe about that. But Raila again shook hands with the president. The Gen Zs were bitter, they maligned him, they said all these sorts of things. But let me ask you, why did that Mandamano don't continue? Why did it stop? Because you cannot ignore. There is a Gen Z who is a Raila diehard somewhere. So you cannot tell me that because they belong to the same age bracket, they'll speak the same language. There is that one who has got his own opinion. Belonging to a certain age bracket doesn't confine you to a certain opinion of the popular ones or to a popular opinion. You can have your own opinion as well. So there are those Gen Zs, especially from Nyanza region, who knew that Raila is their hero. So yeah, I can tell you, Raila joining the government helped cool things in last year's Mandamanos. This year's Mandamanos, he had less influence because Gen Zs were feeling, you know, they are the majority right now. They were feeling disappointed by him. And his association with the government that has to some extent grown unpopular, was also affecting his popularity. So he didn't have a lot of say. Otherwise, that man was the Kenyan politics. I don't know whether we are going to breed another one anytime soon.
Mr. Chemiat, I want us now to talk about something here. I know majority of people are, this now where people are waiting to see what's going to happen next. The issue of the succession politics. Remember, Raila Odinga has died without without even giving somebody direction that now, okay, I'm dead, or before I die, this is the path that I followed. I would like you to follow this so that you can also make it in politics.
Okay, I think on that one I can tell you the truth, that in fact the next few months we are going to have a lot of political realignments because of one thing. I told you, this person shapes the politics of the country, and that is what I keep repeating, because why am I saying so is because wherever he supported defined a lot of things. So I think the most important thing is to note that he was a party leader, and not just a party. It is the oldest party that is popular. Leave alone the Kinakanu and what have you. It's one of the very, very serious party. A party that has produced a prime minister. It was, in fact, before this house, it was the most popular party before UDA came into play. So even Jubilee had to merge URP and TNA to merge the popularity of ODM. It is a dominant party in regions around, Western, Nyanza, and Coast, and some parts of Nairobi. You understand? So that is a very serious party. So there will have to be somebody to succeed him as the party leader. Now,
the question is who?
That is it. And this is what is going to bring rifts in the party. How I wish that, you know, you guys are saying that he predicted his own death. If that was the case, then he could have sat them down and told them, as I will, you know, if one day I'm no more, kindly, Honorable Sifuna should take over. So at the end of the day, also, nationally, like I've told you, him being hated also, it is going to affect some people in some region. There are those people who are going to lose relevance and popularity because they depended on just saying no, you know. So at the end of the day, succession of Raila is not going to be easy, and it is not easy to be Raila.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody who can withstand castigations,
the hatred and all that.
somebody who can withstand everything, at maligning, people talking all the nonsense about you, even people calling him the devil, people calling him Muganga, people calling him all those names, but he could put on a very, very bright face and stand
and walk.
Who in this country can do that?
No one.
The only other person who was trying to come close to Raila in terms of in terms of that was Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the former Prime Minister.
The former Deputy President.
You know, the former Deputy President. You know, the former Deputy President is trying to be now the main opposition leader. The role which has been played by the late Raila for far too long. But now, you know, even in football, if you normally follow, say, European football, which is the most followed on the planet, you'll understand that even players, when they are being rated in terms of price, we look at age. The age, A young player who is scoring goals, doing things, can attract a very huge amount of money. But if you are very old, it doesn't mean matter the number of goals you score or how well you play. People believe that soon you are going to retire from the game. So Honorable Rigathi could have tried to come close to even matching Raila's politics of opposition, but he cannot. I doubt if he can, because also he is not a beginning politician. He is somebody who has been in governments as an administrator, and now of course as a member of parliament, and of course latest he was the deputy president. So succeeding Raila will be in this based on this. Somebody who will succeed him as the party leader, somebody who will succeed him as the leader of opposition. Remember, we do not have that position, but it is played, it is passive. The opposition leader, and then we have that person who will succeed him as an opinion and political shaper. So those three people are the ones I'm trying to scan through the politicians that we have. The only other person who can match Raila's strength and progress, if it was in opposition, is the president himself. The president, that's true. So the only other person who can match Raila's capabilities. Raila is one person who could use the court of public Mwananchi to bring about changes in government when he's in opposition. Can you imagine pushing for a bill in parliament when you are not in government, opposition? And then latest, we did not have, you know, the role of official opposition leader was scrapped by our new constitution, and we replaced that with of course the majority and minority leader in both houses. Now the role has been played. He continued with his role. With or without that title. He continued. He kept the government in check. He kept them on toes. He made sure that whatever come may, the government will not do as it pleases. So he's really disturbed the governments or the former governments and even the government of the day, because for you to do this, you have to also seek his blessings, because once he says no and he says now the court of public opinion is going to apply, you know that whatever you are trying to do will not happen. It is not easy. I mean, you know, the aspect of him having a fanatical following was also very, very good. Because it doesn't mean what you say. Remember the constitution? When he went against the first proposed constitution that Kibaki wrote, was it in 2005? they shoot it down.
They shut it down, yeah. They shut it down because he was against it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When he said it is okay, you remember the case of people having to be asked, is this constitution good? Mzuri.
What is Raila saying?
You know, people are like, okay, katiba ni mzuri. Ni mzuri sana, ni mzuri sana. Then they are being asked, ni nini imekupendeza kwa hiyo katiba? And they are like, bora baba amesoma na amesema iko sawa. People trusted him that much. That is fanatical following. You don't just get that one anywhere. So I admire his way of doing things because getting that one is not easy. Because I know human being and the political minds, even if today you build even rivers of juice and milk, if one day you made one wrong,
everything is wrong.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Nairobi County.
Yes.
Of course, everybody knew very well that Raila Odinga would support Johnson Sakaja to become the governor once again.
It wasn't said.
It was most likely, most likely that was the direction that we were heading to.
Raila controls Nairobi. Raila has been controlling Nairobi.
Yes, he was controlling Nairobi, but now...
And let me tell you, any governor who was not from Raila's party did not survive. The first governor was Kidero. He was in from Raila's party. Yeah. When we brought in Songo, what happened to Songo?
Survive. Yeah, he didn't survive.
Thank you. So, how did Sakaja survive Nairobi?
Only by now going to
Raila and Ruto coming together. And
that is where the problem is coming from.
And that is why I'm telling you, if you're a governor, if Raila lived longer than today, if you are one who is vying for gubernatorial in Nairobi, and you vie on a party against Raila's, just know that your survival is going to be very, very difficult. Because like right now, his party or his divide, as the Azimio la Umoja, they have the majority of the MCAs. This governor will not pass bills unless the governor's bills unless he seeks their blessings. And with him, since they listen to Baba, he's been surviving on that.
But here we have a question. I have a question here.
Yes.
Babu Owino is from ODM. Johnson Sakaja is not from ODM, but was really following Raila Odinga because that was his only way of survival. And Babu Owino said that he knows very well that he will not be given ticket to vie for the gubernatorial of Nairobi County, but he will vie with another ticket. So right now, my question is this. This is now my question. Do you really think that Sakaja is going to survive with Babu Owino, bearing in mind that now somebody who maybe Sakaja was depending on is no more?
Now let me tell you one thing. That is rumor. And the way I know the little I know about the late Raila Amolo Odinga, there was no way he was going to support Sakaja against Babu.
So you don't believe that?
That one I do not believe. I do not take that one. And let me tell you, the reason why Babu showed some doubts that he could not be given the ODM ticket was because we also have another player in the name of Tim Wanyonyi. So he feared the ticket could go to Tim Wanyonyi.
But Wanyonyi declared and he went back to
Wait. Before then, that is what our friend feared. And then Ruto was so desperate to protect Honorable Sakaja that he wanted to put it as a bargaining chip that let us talk, agree, and come at a consensus that we field one candidate.
Okay.
And in this case, so Honorable Babu did not want to be put to a situation whereby it is either me or him. I don't know the doubt. Yes, okay. He wanted to be, I am the party's candidate. And I doubt if Raila could have supported Sakaja. The ideologies, when you look at the way they speak and do things, I doubt. Raila, in as much as people have painted him as one person who loved violence and chaos, is one person I can tell you, at some point he has shown us his side of loving tranquility. He lets things be. He gives the biggest pushes. But when he believes that, okay, it is enough, it decides, let us cool the waves. Let us go back to the drawing board. Let us regroup and come back, then approach this again. Yes.
So people like Opondo Peter So tell me about people like Opondo Peter Kaluma. Because by the way, I've realized that if there is somebody who normally sings Raila Odinga everywhere, is Opondo Peter. So it means that there are some politicians, in short, those politicians who can't survive. I want to talk about those who can't survive. They know very well that they can't survive without Raila.
Now let me tell you, Opondo Peter Kaluma was an ardent follower and supporter of Honorable Raila. He believed in everything the late said. He was the type of a person, if Raila had asked, can you jump? He would have asked how high.
How high, yeah.
You know, he was like, Raila is the answer to everything. So, of course, he's going to be affected, but we cannot say that he will not move on. Because based on his record and the region where he comes from, you cannot tell me he will be denied votes by those people. The fact that he has identified with the late that much, still he will control some support. He will get some sympathy also from the same, and he is likely to survive, and maybe going forward he'll have maybe devised mechanisms of going about it alone. Yes.
Don't you think that 2027 is going to be now, like 2027 election as is really going to be very much challenging as we speak right now?
I told you that since we have said that the former Prime Minister was the opinion and political shaper of this country, there is going to be a lot of political realignments. People are going to have to adjust to doing their politics minus Raila in the question.
Good.
And this one is going to bring about the realignments. People will have to stick together. There are those who will stick to plan, because maybe as a party or as a group they had a certain plan to make sure that they clinch seats or majority of the seats come 2027. There are those people who will believe that with minus Raila this plan will not work, so we have to forge other means. We have to I don't know, hitch.
Yeah,
yes. Their plans had to now say we regroup and maybe revise our methodologies. Yes.
And of course, you talked about the issue of now the opposition, whereby now we only have Rigathi Gachagua is somehow likely going to be now.
Let me tell you one thing for a fact. I know. I know, because since Raila has been in bed with the government in the name of broad-based, people might be tempted to think that Rigathi was that answer when it comes to opposition politics. Bro, you are wrong. I know Raila is the type of a person, I'll use Swahili in this, ni ule mtu anajipinda kama nyoka, anatoa ile nguo yake, anakuja upya. When you say Raila is over, that is when he surprises you. He will come up with something very small. You will talk about it. There will be mixed opinions, reactions, and what have you. Then he will say, like when he formed the Azimio one. You know that one came from a sentiment. I remember when he was in Nakuru, he was defending the handshake government, and he was saying tukaazimia kuwa pamoja. Just a statement, and then it was taken as the Azimio. That is the name. When let me take you back. You know, when Moi was exiting the government, he was fronting Uhuru, and Moi's game and game plan was scoring. If not for Raila, Moi could have succeeded. Can I tell you why? If you read Mudia Warris, Uncle Moody's Riding on a Tiger, we are told that it came a time when Moi had to pick his successor. You understand? So when Moi was supposed to pick his successor, all these people, you know, Raila had joined the government after 1997. You understand? So we had Kalonzo. Kalonzo, we are told, was that the greatest loyalist of Moi.
Of Moi. Yeah.
I remember that at some point we are told Moi went to, I don't know where, somewhere in Masaini, and while addressing people, when people were so eager to hear him state whoever he was going to front as his successor, he looked back in the seat and saw Honorable Saitoti the late. And then he looked at the people and said, and I quote, najua mnataka niwaambie nani nimechagua, sitasema leo kwa sababu hayuko hapa. And that is Saitoti seated there, your deputy president. So you remember what happened with the professor, the late. And again came a situation whereby they are in one room, and this is now the day when Moi was going to tell them, wakiwa pale, all of them. Then, remember, the most loyal person to Moi was, by then, Honorable, the former Vice President, Kalonzo Musyoka. So people are like, okay, we are waiting for Mzee to come. So when, who is his name? The late Saitoti. Arrived, he had made sure that his security was in place, and Moi was always ahead of people when it came to that. You know, he had a day more in his eyes. So Moi entered the room and said, I know that your security is in place. He told Saitoti because Saitoti was preparing to go and say no to whoever Moi was going to front, because he knew that it was not going to be him.
It was not going to be him.
You understand? Then everybody knew that Raila, you know, he was a radical. Raila, nobody could not know the answer. So they knew that Raila atapinga direct, he was going to say no. You understand? Because people already had a feeling he was going to front this young man in the name of Uhuru Kenyatta. So when Moi finally talked and said, mimi nimechagua yule naona ataniridi atakuwa sawa na ni Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila, as expected, point blank told Mzee, no, we do not agree, and stormed out. The late Honorable Saitoti also stormed out. But what killed Moi was he did not foresee a situation where his biggest loyalist and ardent follower of then Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, who composed himself and then did this. He said, and I quote, Mzee naona hii maneno tuachie wenyewe. So it was a blow to Moi, a big blow to the late President Moi, because he did not expect that Kalonzo would not support him. So Raila lives there, you know, of course, the Karisa Maitha, was it Changilu, and Wamalwa Kijana, Kibaki, Wamalwa Kijana, and who are these other people? Kina Ngilu. They had formed NAK already. So they already were chanting their own path. The NAK. They already had their own path. So Kalonzo was coming, Nyachai was coming. So Moi knew very well that, okay, Uhuru may be unpopular, but Raila is going to vie, Nyachai is going to vie, Kibaki and Wamalwa Kijana and the Kina Karisa Maitha were going to fight, and then and of course Kinangilu, they were going to fight. So he knew that they could divide the opposition politics, that Uhuru with his 1.4, was it 1.4 million he got, he could have just taken it by storm. You know, then these people, Raila started approaching other politicians so they can work together. But whenever he did this, the question was, who will agree to support the other? You understand? So that was what we call Kizungumkuti.
I think the same thing. What you are saying is that happened is what is happening right now. We'll agree. We'll agree.
And that is where I'm coming, I think. So they move, but when they went to Mombasa, remember Karisa Maitha had laid the foundation of coastal politics. So their first visit as a united front, they visit Mombasa. When they arrived in coast, they came as a team. These people have agreed to work together, but we have not agreed that we are going to support so and so. When they arrived, Kibaki, Wamalwa Kijana, Ngilu and Karisa Maitha received the loudest applause from Wananchi. So it was almost obvious that the Kibaki side was the most popular amongst them. In as much as, okay, it was that region, but Kibaki receiving such an applause in the coastal region, they felt Kibaki is doing this. So now they are embroiled in talks because they have agreed to work together, but nobody is willing to let it go to the other. Kibaki and Wamalwa Kijana are coming because they have agreed that Wamalwa Kijana, you are going to be my vice president. By then they were vice president. But Nyachae is here, is pulling in his own.
Everybody is pulling.
Raila is here. Even I don't know. Even Kalonzo was there.
Kalonzo was
Saitoti was there.
Yeah.
And these were big politicians. They controlled regional politics. So the public was eager. They know that these people are campaigning together, but they have not told us who they are going to support. Now they were so much fixed that they were forced, because it is 2 months to elections, they were forced to announce the date. That on this date we are going to tell you who is going to be our flag bearer.
Our flag bearer.
Now the public is eager.
Everybody is waiting.
Uhuru Park is full. And these people, majority except Nyachae had agreed. Nyachae had not agreed. In fact, there's a story that Raila was bribed to snitch Nyachae. So they go to the public is waiting. Wananchi are so much eager. All the mainstream media is there, focused. Internationally, remember Kenyan politics are followed even internationally. They are waiting for that. Again, this one, what do we call this one? Even Uhuru Park itself was full, and people are waiting. They could not have managed to disappoint the public. So everything, people are growing restless, and what have you? You've kept people for far too long. So what are you going to do? You must tell these people something. Today you must make an announcement, but we have not agreed. So Raila did not even endorse Kibaki by saying Kibaki tosha. He asked a question. And you know Nyachae is here, ananumunika. Said, tunashinda tukipambana na kuulizana hapa sijui nani ni nani. Si Kibaki ametosha. That was a question.
And that is how Kibaki became...
and it was breaking news. Kibaki it is.
Kibaki it is.
You know, it was being, you know, there was a protocol. There was protocol of who is saying what.
Who is talking, you know.
So there was protocol, and the protocol you could read that. Look, anyway, some people are being given a little weight than the others. Yes. So Kibaki was supposed to maybe to speak the last, if I'm not wrong. And then Raila wakes up, takes the mic, and it is his time to talk, and you know the way, you know, with his rhetorics and moving the crowd, and the crowd cheered, you know, he commands a very large support around Nairobi, and says, tunashinda tukisumbuka hapa na kutafuta si Kibaki ametosha. It was a question. And then it was breaking news. Kibaki it is. So everybody, so Nyachae, so because of how people cheered, celebrated, even those who had not agreed
had to agree,
were forced. There was no way you could say no to that. No way it came at a point where there was little or nothing somebody could have done with that. And I keep mentioning, the only person who did not agree with that to date was Nyachae. He never agreed.
He's no more.
And then now they come back. Instead of people telling Raila, why did you go and announce before we agreed? People could not face Raila to ask him that. They started now the question of, we are the coalition. What are we going to call it? And it was only Ngilu who had some dispute over the name National Rainbow Coalition, because I think in Kamba region the rainbow is some sort of an omen. You understand? So that was all. So you see how he did his own things. I think deep down he read how the public wanted. In fact, it could be felt that Kibaki was the most popular amongst them, in as much as they all commanded their crowds. But it was that. So Raila became the most popular by saying Kibaki ametosha.
Just a question.
So the same case applies to, since then, this politics of coalition. Politics of coalition every now and then. We have had a question of choosing the flag bearer, even when sometimes it is just too obvious, because you look at these people. You have Honorable Kalonzo, Honorable Isaac Ruto, Honorable Mudavadi and Sjuhu, and like people are so eager waiting for someone to be announced. I think it is also another gamesmanship. It's a tackle in the gamesmanship business, because politically, when you keep people waiting for that, and you keep them in dilemma, it grows the attractiveness and it brings about the popularity it requires. So we knew that they could front Raila on the NASA ticket, even the code one.
Even the code.
We knew that it was Raila who was coming, but either way, you still feel like, could they change, really? And only that one is politics by itself. So even when we talked about these other ones, the Azimio la Umoja, who did not know that Raila was going to be the candidate?
It was automatic. But now it was like, let us keep guessing. Is it Martha? Is it Kalonzo?
Is it now they trickled that one down to being the deputy president, the deputy flag bearer. So at the end of the day, Mgala Muwe Hakimpe, he is the smartest politician Kenya has ever had. I can say that. Yeah. And arguably Africa.
Of course. So maybe as we wind up, I would like to ask this. That of course we know that it's so much painful that we've lost someone who is very much important in the country, in the world at large. But there are still some dots that we are trying to connect. How did it happen? This suspicion now, because there are some people who are saying that this man died 3 weeks ago. Some people are saying he died 1 week ago. Some people are saying he died in the morning. Like, according to the information that we're getting, like I was sent something by one of the guys that is working in the media house, and he was telling me that the guy died in the morning while taking a walk. Someone also, like, there's a story that we did last week, which was saying that, remember the issue of the I don't know, there was an issue that was going Lee funeral. That is the point that, according to a lot of people, I think that is the point that Raila Odinga died. It's only that they're trying to hide it. So as we wind up, I would like you to tell us maybe your last statement concerning the whole of this issue.
Okay, thank you. But before I come to my last statement about the same, I want to say this.
Okay.
There's something I left out. When it came to succession politics, in terms of having an opposition as leader as strong as he has been, and you brought in the question of the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. You know, it is not just about how mobilizing people and saying one time, one time. It goes beyond this. It's beyond one term. You lose on the ballot and you still maintain relevance. That is where Gachagua cannot manage. And then, which is this fanatical support that Gachagua commands? Can Gachagua tell people today, twende maandamano and coast inenda maandamano, Nairobi there is chaos, where there are chaos? Can they do that? People will argue that the region from where they come from, they do not like that type of politics of protest and what have you, but we've seen it in the recent Gen Z protests. You cannot tell me that. It is thanks to the fact that mostly the region from where he comes from has been in government many a times. And of course, during Moi's era, we did not have a lot of exposure like we have right now. So you cannot tell me that there is a region that is prone to protest and another one not. It is just because that region has been in opposition for far too long. So my question is, like I told you, Raila is hated and loved in equal measures, right? In that today he can go and tell people in Kisumu and say, Kenya imenichosha kabisa, let us all go to Lake Victoria and die. He will go with them, have the community. Can Rigathi do that? Even maandamano alone, there is nobody. People have died because they are ready to take bullets for Raila. who can take a bullet for Raila today so that you can bring Rigathi in. So to me that is an unfair competition. It's like comparing Messi to if you know Messi anyway, it's like comparing Messi or Ronaldo to somebody like Chamak or a certain village guy who plays football somewhere in Bondo and scores a good head and you know, okay, so that is it. And again the question of keeping it beyond the ballot.
Keeping beyond the ballot.
Our friend, the former deputy president, is moving crowds and mobilizing against the president for 2027. There is an upcoming election. Suppose he doesn't succeed and that the president retains.
Can he maintain?
How will he maintain his relevance beyond that?
He said that if Ruto wins, atahama Kenya.
And that is what I'm telling you. He will not. So let us be realistic. The only person in this country who can match Raila's prowess, and in fact not even matching, just coming close to matching in opposition, is the president himself. If Raila had won the seat and today Uhuru is the opposition leader, Raila could be having sleepless nights. But there are those people who will talk. Rigiji will talk, but the president is keeping turning a blind eye. And if you want to be very careful about this, how many times does Rigiji speak before Ruto responding even to one?
It's very rare.
Does he do that?
It doesn't.
He doesn't give him the attention he is normally. Sometimes I see Rigiji talking even for a week. Does 3 interviews, does what. And
Ruto is just
and it gives sentiments.
Kulienda kukawa kukakua.
Crowds do not directly translate to votes. Crowds do not translate to votes. You should not stand on a mic on top of a car and see 3,000 people cheering and say these are votes. Bro, I know Raila has been unpopular in Central Region, but whenever he made a stop at say Githurai, people would listen. Even right now, if Rigiji was to come somewhere here, you will see people running to go there.
So in other words,
people love seeing when somebody you normally see on TV and is here, so you should not confuse the crowds people address for votes.
So if it's crowd, then Raila could have been president long time.
Yes, if it is about the crowds to move, Raila is the only person. Somebody was joking today and telling us that Raila used to give us holidays when he was alive. Now he's giving us hours. This Mzee is so generous.
He's giving us holidays. Like we are going to have 1 week of
this 1 week of morning, and things are going to be slow. Somebody was saying this on a lighter note that even right now, if the traffic police officer stops you on the road and says you've done this mistake, I'm affected by the death of the former prime minister. I'm not thinking straight. So at the end of the day, nobody, even that president I'm talking about can come close, but he cannot be Raila. You cannot fight. It will take us ages to breed another Raila, and considering the modern day politics, because he has transitioned from different types of politics. The modern day politics, we cannot get such a person. These days people are so brilliant. Raila had the chance to lead people when there was no technology, there were no phones, access to information was low. So he grew inside people's hearts. Like when we used to have only KBC during Moi's time, where the news had to start with Hileo Rais, Daniel Toroitich, Arap Moi. No. These days, people are exposed. In fact, people even watch that TV online, they watch other things, So it is next to impossible to produce another Raila, because he used rhetorics. He could charge the crowd with sijui mpira kutangaza nani anapea nani mpira and all that. He could come up with just something.
He knew how to play with people's minds.
Where did he get the name Baba? When a community starts saying you are their father,
it means
how many people in the Central Region today can call Baba?
He's only called Wamunyoro.
So I hope you see the picture.
I'm seeing.
I am not dismissing him. is an important player in the politics, because he controls one of a region that is very rich in terms of politics, a region that is very determinant.
And he has made us know a lot of things.
But with that, you cannot conclude and say that he is going to give the same influence. Okay, in fact, right now in terms of opposition, Rigiji is the best that we have. So it is not to mean that he is that good. So I'm only saying he is the best that we have, but he cannot match Raila.
He can't match Raila.
It is a fallacy to even compare them.
Maybe your last statement as well.
Okay, firstly, I want to thank you for having me on this show. Because it has always been a pleasure to come and have such discussions. Number two, I want to say that I want to again pass my condolence to the family of the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. I want to pass my condolence to his supporters, Kenyans at large. Kenya has lost, and I want to tell you this. You know, even to those people who hated him, I can tell them this. Even Satan is important. You know, Satan is many times used as a bad example.
So that people can change.
So I want to say that everybody has got their own positive and negative sides. And talking about the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, even to those who did not like him, I want to remind them that we take this moment, give him the flowers he deserves. It is not easy to be him. And I want to tell you that he has inspired even those of us who did not support him from before. Because when you look at him trying again and again, going to the ballot, losing and coming again, regrouping yourself after a loss, it tells you that even in life when things are so thick, do not give up. In fact, personally, the biggest lesson I've drawn from the life and the politics of the late Right Honorable is the art of never giving up. Going to the ballot, results disputed, what have you, controversially losing, what have you, accepting, throwing the towel, coming to try again, 5 times, then making a stab at the AU chairmanship, and then
you still lose, and then you come back strong. Also,
being in a position to make decisions, you know, they might not be very popular. Not very many people will agree with you, but you can make them. And amongst the popular decisions I talk about, because the government had lost a lot of popularity in Kenya, supporting the government means you drown alongside them. But he did not care. He did not take that into consideration. He was like, okay, it has happened. Enough is enough. And he knew that he was going to disappoint many. But with the time, that is what he believed is right. So the art of doing what you think is right is another lesson I draw from him. There are so many lessons, so let us give him his flowers, let us mourn. And I said I'm a believer. When I learn from kings, some of the lessons learned from King Solomon is that we said we appreciate his achievements. We appreciate his achievements, but learn from his mistakes. Be careful not to do the mistakes Raila did, and just appreciate and emulate what he did right. Otherwise, thank you so much. Pache Conva.
Okay, to our viewers, I would like to just say this, that many are going to remember him as a prince who never became a king. Some are going to remember him as one of the greatest men in the country of Kenya who brought a lot of changes, despite the fact that he tried to become the president 5 times and he failed. But he made us have the freedom that we are having right now. We can speak, we can do anything that we are doing without any questions. But at the end of the day, we have to accept the fact that he has died, and that is the direction that all of us must take. I would like to send the condolences of Bonita Media to the family of the late Raila Odinga, Mama Ida, together with the daughter and also the son, the brother, everybody that is around Raila Odinga, the Luo community, the Luya community, the Maasai, all Kenyans, every part of the country, because all of us have been affected. Everybody has been affected by the loss of the great man, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the engineer himself. And that is the only thing that we have to say. Until we meet again in the next video, if it's possible, I've been your host, Bonfredo. But don't forget to subscribe. Mr. Demiat, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Pace convai.
I've said pace convai.
Pace convai.
That is an Italian expression to say peace be with you. And it is normally the way I normally feel.
And the pace conte.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Until we meet again, I've been your host, Bonfredo. Bye-bye.
Bye.